One of the things I love about Montclair is that we've got people from all over the world. In my experience, there's no better way to get to know someone than eating the food that brings them home. So let's cook up special dishes with the people that make up the fabric of our campus.
Cooking with Koppell, Season 3, Episode 4, Take 1.
Hello, my name is Marelyn Lujan Juarez. I'm a student here at Montclair, class of 2025. I'm a first-generation student. My mom is from Mexico, Oaxaca, and my dad is from Honduras, Tela. Growing up, going to college, it was like the biggest accomplishment that I could give my parents. But when I graduated from high school, I know that we didn't have the funds to go to a 4-year. So I went to a community college and I wasn't really happy with my major, but it was a major that made my parents happy. In 2019, I went through a life scare, which led me to meet a student from Montclair. It made me look into Montclair, and here I am. Today I am cooking Desayuno Típico de Honduras with President Koppell, and I chose this dish because my favorite members will come in during that breakfast time and just sharing and getting close together. And I can't wait to taste how this turns out.
Okay, so it's a beautiful sunny morning, Marelyn. So what should we cook?
We are going to make Desayuno Típico, which is typical breakfast. It's a Honduran dish that we make.
Kind of showing a little bit of Mexican pride here. But you said you were making Honduran desayuno.
Yes.
Mom then is the Honduran part of the equation?
Reverse.
Oh.
My mom is from Mexico, Oaxaca, and my dad is from Honduras, Tela.
So she's assimilated the Honduran breakfast?
My mom is a firm believer into when a man's heart is through his stomach. So she learned everything. She learned my dad's culture and learned all the foods and stuff and won my dad over.
Tell me a little bit of your family story. So how did we get this cross-fertilization of culture coming?
So my mom came here in her early 20s and they were having difficult times back home. And so she made the hard decision into coming here without him to give him a better life back home.
Okay.
And my dad came here because basically all his family was coming here. And he was like, well, I'm not going to be left behind. I'm going to come with you guys. And my aunt worked at the same factory as my mom. So my aunt actually introduced my mom and my dad. All right, so next what we're gonna do, we're gonna refry the beans.
Good.
In an early age, my mom always called me into the kitchen to either help her or sit and observe what she's doing. She grew up with food and like how food just connects everybody and bonds everybody, even by differences and stuff.
Right.
So, and that's how she shows love.
You just sort of said the premise of this show. Did you know, Marelyn, when you went to Middlesex, did you have your eyes on Montclair, or did that come later?
Actually, I wasn't gonna go to a 4-year.
Oh, you didn't know?
No,
You didn't know?
I was so set in stone to get my associates and go right to work. I was interrupted with a medical situation where I had to put my life in pause and reevaluate how the decisions I was making and who, in the end of the day, who I was putting first before myself.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Well, so why don't we talk about that, because it's pretty dramatic. So it feels funny to talk about it while we're making a fried egg. But that's the show. So that's what it is. So we're gonna make a fried egg and we're gonna talk about your life.
I had this really bad headache and it was like really bad, and my mom, being my mom, she was like, no, we're not playing with this, we're going to the hospital, we're going. I found out that I had an aneurysm, a brain aneurysm that had erupted and was swelling my brain. I had to go into surgery, and because of that, my left side of my body got temporarily paralyzed and the right side of my face. So I had to go into therapy for a few months.
That must have been incredibly scary.
Yes, it was.
I mean, for you and for your family, everybody.
My mom, she called work and was like, I'm not coming back. And she literally did not leave my side that whole entire time.
Wow.
Like stayed with me through that whole entire time. So it was very scary for them too. It was very scary for me because it was one of those things that's like, you don't know what's gonna happen the next day, you know? I went through a lot of very traumatic, emotional, mental health struggles. I even wanted to drop out of college. Like I was so unmotivated and like so discouraged. And I took the step into going to a counselor and was like, I need help. Like I am struggling. And while we were deciding on schools, I actually, in the hospital, I met this girl named Carly. Shout out to Carly. She was a Montclair student.
Yeah.
And she, while we were in the hospital, she would talk about Montclair and how she was so excited to go back to school. So when I changed my major, and my counselor was like, what school do you want to go to? I looked into Montclair, and I was like, let me see what this school has to offer. And it had an amazing communication program, so many opportunities it gives to students. So I applied and I got in, and here I am.
That's fantastic. So it's weird though, because the aneurysm changed your trajectory in so many ways, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of strange in a way. I mean, you must think about that. Like, what if that hadn't happened? Would you have changed direction anyway? You might have. But it's hard to tell the story without that big piece.
Yeah, that big thing. Yeah.
All right, let's make sure we're making progress here.
Right.
What do we got to do?
So now we're gonna cook the sausage.
Okay.
So since
the same oil.
Yeah. So since it has a skin, so we're gonna peel off the layer of skin that it has.
What's it been like for you here? I mean, I know you're a social media person in your own right.
You know, I try to get involved as much as I can in the school. I'm also an intern in Hawk Plus.
Okay, good. Hawk Plus
Shout
promo.
out to Professor Efron. Hey, have you cut an avocado?
Have I cut an avocado? Yeah, I think once or twice.
Oh, you're better than me. I can't even open mine.
I've got you.
You got me.
I've got you. You don't have to worry about it.
So now we have some cheese. We have some feta cheese. Do you like cheese?
I like cheese.
All right. So you put as much cheese as you want.
Okay.
I brought for this special day.
Yeah.
I brought some crema.
Okay.
This is crema.
Yeah. There you go.
So it's our version of sour cream. Better. I think it's way better than sour cream.
I agree.
So we basically put this just on top of the
Of the beans.
Of the beans. You put as much as you want. I go crazy, but.
All right. What about the Worcestershire sauce? What's that about?
I actually do that.
So just for our viewers, because it's now in the shop the whole time, it's like, this meal does not involve Worcestershire sauce. But I was like sitting the whole time like, when are we going to get to that? The answer is never. It's good. It's good to keep people off balance a little bit.
Right,
There you go.
surprise them, catch them off guard.
But we do have Cholula, which I strongly approve of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big Cholula eater. All right, well, I think we're ready to go eat, yes?
Yes.
All right, let's eat. Okay, so you said it's weekend, so it's Sunday morning. Paint the picture for me of what it looks like you're with your family. How are we doing?
So the kitchen is chaotic.
Okay.
The kitchen is chaotic. My mom is bossing everybody around. Nobody is sitting down. That's
Okay.
her rule. Nobody sits down until everything's ready.
Okay.
And everything's ready. We sit down. So we grab the tortilla.
This one seems messy for that, though. I gotta tell you.
No,
I mean,
trust me.
I'm down with eating with my hands, but on this one, all right.
The tortilla is your
friend.
So the way we do it is that you go off, you try the beans, and you cut a piece of the egg.
Okay.
You get the tortilla, you wrap it up, and you go for it.
So it's like a little mini burrito.
My mom said the messier, that's how you know that you're enjoying her food.
So you're a senior. So I'm going to ask the question that every senior hates more than any question ever, which is, so tell me, do you know what you're doing after graduation?
Oh no, not this question. I don't know. I just know that I want to go back home and help my parents in any way I can. I definitely have plans to work either in the city.
How much have you traveled so far?
I've been to only Honduras
I was gonna say, you've been to Honduras, yeah?
and Mexico.
But how would you explain the difference between Oaxaca and Honduras?
So Oaxaca, where my mom lives, it's very farmland, very, animals, crops, and all that stuff. My dad lives in a beach town. So we have the ocean, the beach. And
I went there. I went to that part of Oaxaca. These
Really?
these bajías where they sort of isolated and they drop you off and then they leave.
Yeah, and they leave
I did
you,
that.
yeah.
It was fantastic.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
To get to where I live, we took a taxi and it was an 8-hour drive, and it stopped by little towns and stuff. So we were there for like 8 hours, but it was a struggle. But we got to see like small little towns that you wouldn't see if you just like landed directly to the place.
Right.
So we got to see like small little towns and like little communities, and it was like really cool.
And what about Honduras?
I love Honduras.
So what was that experience?
I'm not an ocean person. I never really liked the ocean, but the ocean over there just makes you feel like it's just so beautiful. The water is so clear. We have the biggest marine life and coral reef. I think it's the second or the first. I'm not sure. It's so beautiful. You can literally look down, like if you're in a boat and you look down, you see it.
Right.
It's so beautiful.
I was thinking about your medical interruption to your journey, and I'm wondering, do you think it changed the way you approach doing work? Did it make you sort of value it different? Like, how do you think that affected how you go about living your life, including school, but not limited to that?
Yeah, so basically, I try not to go so hard on myself, like I really try to be super kind to myself, and when I do struggle, I just try to remember where I am, ground myself, not to overthink, obviously. But the one thing I would say it taught me was it's a good thing to plan and to be, organized and stuff, but not to the point where like you limit yourself to that plan. To be open to new experiences, to if you see a new road and it benefits you, like go for it. Like with the stuff that happened to me, I try to take those lessons that I took, like being patient with myself, because I had to take therapy, and I little by little, had to move my fingers, move my legs. So and it wasn't like one day I just woke up and my legs just started working. So being patient, so taking lessons from that experience, that's how I'm able to move on from it and not let what happened to me drown me out and stuff. So
one of the best things I think about contemporary students compared to when I was roughly the same age, people are not ashamed at all to ask for help. I think it's a little bit different for different cultural groups, but for the most part, people are totally fine saying like, I'm struggling, I need some help, which is great, and it's great that you're encouraging your siblings to do the same thing.
Because I'm a first gen, so I trial and error. Like I've been, filling out that FAFSA application by myself. Let me tell you, it was such a struggle. So any lessons that I take, along the road, and sometimes it doesn't even apply to my siblings, but I tell them because I'm like, one day you're gonna go through something, and I want to be here to give you those lessons and to tell you my experience, because I don't want them to go through what, the struggles that I've gone through, and be that vessel for them to ask questions and stuff like
Great. Well, Marelyn, thank you. I was obviously hungry because I ate my desayuno completely, but it was enjoyable. I had a good time cooking together, and what a great opportunity to get to talk. So thank you for joining me today.
Of course, anytime.
Thank you for watching another season of Cooking with Koppell. You can see this episode and all the other episodes on Hawk Plus.